Well, obviously CPUs are only one small part of what Intel covered at the Developers Forum recently in San Francisco.
Did you guys track the Intel Developers Forum, all the news coming out of that? Well, I mean, is there anything you guys want to know about the Developers Forum? Wow, nothing. Surely someone.
Not too sure if this was in the developers conference, but what's up with the DLC for an Intel chip?
Yeah,
What?
I was getting to that.
We were going to cover that, but of course he's ambushed us. Something that our guys are really, really worried about is the idea that you buy a piece of hardware and then there's going to be then another additional cost, DLC, like you have DLC for games at the moment, to unlock even more performance.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a specific Pentium chip that they're trialing in the States right now. It's $50 US to download a piece of software to unlock an extra 1 meg of cache and hyper-threading on the chip when it already has support. So it doesn't have access to them without that software, without the $50 software, and you've already paid for the system. Is that something that is going to spread?
Because it's not being implemented in Australia, I don't have too much detail on that, and sort of I haven't really focused on that at all. But you know, of course, that when die come off the manufacturing line, they're not all made equal. You know, there is variance between different dies, so that gives you the ability to have these parts that could be potentially changed aftermarket, and that's the concept. But I don't have any details about what they're doing in the US.
Dell? Isn't it Dell
It's HP, I think.
Is it HP? Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah. I mean,
Gateway.
Dell are notorious for locking hardware in their systems. I mean, we go back to, you know,
The custom
video
power
cards.
supplies.
Power
that won't
supplies,
fit
video
24
cards,
pin, yeah.
not putting 512 meg in a video card, only putting 200 meg in a video card.
And giving you the previous generation's lowest end model and calling it a gaming machine.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily an Intel specific thing. I think it's more something that Dell's trying to get involved with. I myself also haven't heard anything from.
Yeah, I don't
the
have
Intel
details
guys.
of the strategy behind that. I mean, it's pretty basic what they're trying to do, but
Yeah.
I don't have much detail on that. But and Dell makes some pretty good high-end gaming machines, you know, as well. They've got some nice machines.
Yeah.
To me,
So it's more of a trial than anything that they're just.
I
sucking at
suspect.
seeing.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't have too much details on that subject.
to me, it sounds like a sort of a strategy that the multinationals would use to sort of hit price points and so forth in retail channels. So that, you know, they've done that. They've done that in the past with special SKUs that you couldn't buy, CPUs and other hardware. So I couldn't see that, you know, gaining momentum in the more mainstream, you know, box CPU market.
So we'll never see an NRG machine with $50 DLC for the processor.
Hell no.
DLC makes sense in some areas, but
And I wouldn't think that strategy is for most, because most people identify the processor as quite important. You want to buy headroom out of the box.
you want to know what you're getting.
You want to know what you're getting, yeah.
I think we just got a question down the center.
Yeah, with that DLC card, it didn't actually have any Gateway branding on it, but it was affiliated with it, but it was more Intel branding. So it was actually more focused towards Intel offering that DLC thing. So
Did you have a question?
No, just to clarify something.
I think he's trying to.
As an
say,
observation.
You're wrong.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
we would have to be intimately involved. If you're talking about turning features on and off a processor, we need to be intimately involved, yeah.
Cool. And just one more.
Yeah, just getting on to the Intel processors and Windows version 8 when it gets released. What's Intel's stance at the moment regarding Sandy Bridge and the 128-bit instructions at the moment? Are they going to be trying to bring something into it to, well, how do I put this, adapt to the 128-bit instructions being introduced in the near future?
In our current architectures, we have 128-bit wide SSE instructions. SSE4 supports 120-bit wide. So we are going to AVX instructions. We haven't announced the width of those, but it's going to be wider than 128 bits. And so today, you know, we don't have 128-bit operating systems, right? But you can write software still on a 64-bit operating system to utilize those 128-bit instructions. And we have all the tools, and there are many manufacturers, software manufacturers like Adobe, that have taken advantage of those accelerators. And we expect to see even a bigger uptake with AVX next year on Sandy Bridge.